it looks like we're finally saying hello to rainy days and goodbye to the intense heat wave we've all been enduring these past few months. Yes, the rains bring clogged drainages and flooding across the country, but we'll take it one day at a time. On that note, welcome to Jasiri. Get ready for inspiring conversations today as we'll be shining a light on the good that comes out of Nigeria. Yes, not everything is bad. Sometimes good things come out of Nazareth. We have two phenomenal guests who are making us proud.
Now we're kicking things off with a powerhouse of purpose. She's the force behind the IA Foundation, an organization redefining access to education in Nigeria while championing the empowerment of the girl child. Joining us now is Ibironke Adeagbo, a chartered accountant and a passionate advocate for education. She's the founder of the IA Foundation, which is committed to breaking down barriers to quality education for Nigerian children. She and the foundation are on a mission to reduce the number of out-of-school children while aligning with Sustainable Development Goal 4, which aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all. Ibironke believes that education isn't just preparation for life, it is life. And through her foundation, she's using education as a tool for empowerment, growth, and lasting societal transformation. And after 5 successful years of changing lives, the IA Foundation is now gearing up to celebrate its 6th anniversary. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly the kind of story we love to share and the kind of conversation we're here for. Ibironke, welcome to Jasiri.
Thanks for having me.
Well done. 5 years. This is your 6th year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's amazing because there's some relationships that don't last that long.
And I love the blings, you know, you're just charming girl.
I thought I should be Nigerian, actually.
I'll
be Nigerian.
It's a good, you're spot on.
Thank you.
I score you high.
Thank you.
Anyway, I love when a woman does, you know, stands out doing something really commendable and purposeful. Ibironke, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, I've said all that. Tell us why you started IA Foundation, because it's always good to get into the foundation story, you know. Tell us, what was the reason?
Okay, good question. So, I was an only daughter growing up in my family. I have 2 brothers, 1 older brother and 1 younger brother. And I was quite brilliant in my days. And when it was time for me to go to university, and I told my father I wanted to study accountancy, and he said to me, accountancy is too tough for a woman, that he would not support me to go to uni to study accountancy unless I change my course. And I'm saying, no, I have a passion for accountancy. And he said, if that's the case, then he would not pay for my fees to go to uni to study accounting. So my mom came to my rescue. She had to sell our property, clothes and gold and everything just to put me through university. And so when I finished university, because I could resonate with this, I tend to, when I see young girls prevented from having access to education, it resonates with me, and I'm like, I need to do something about that. Now, when I then finished my degree, I traveled to the UK, I went to do professional accounting. And I didn't just do 1 professional accounting, I did 3 professional accountancy body.
Wow.
And on my dad's birthday, I flew down to Lagos and I presented the 3 certificates to him to say, that's your birthday present. You know, I did it.
Wow.
What did he say? He was shocked, he couldn't believe it, you know, and he was like, oh, I always knew you were always brilliant.
Yeah, we don't hear that.
So that's on one hand. And when I obviously got to the UK, I started working as a finance director in the education sector. And in the UK, we have 0 tolerance for out-of-school children. They even put the onus on the schools to make sure they mop up the street and there are no kids on the street. And the way they do that is that if you recruit a child to study, you need to retain that child so that child doesn't drop off. And that child needs to achieve something at the end of that course, like a certificate. And if they don't achieve it, it will affect your funding. They'll claw back the funding the government has given you. Wow. So that was an incentive for us to keep those kids in school and to make sure they achieve at the end of it, because an average child really doesn't really want to go to school. So they put the onus on us to do that. Now, I'm not a teacher, but I'm the finance director. So if they claw back our money, it will affect my budget. So I need to balance the books. So I'm always going around to the teachers and telling the teachers, please, that child should not drop out. That child should achieve, and we shouldn't have any voids. When I say voids, that is, we need to be oversubscribed so that we can get the maximum funding. So if there's any kids on the street not going to school, we need to get them in, bumps on seats, they need to, be learning here. And when I come to Nigeria, I go on the street, I see lots of children on the street. It became a moral dilemma for me because it's like in my fatherland, kids are on the street, but I'm busy trying to get a British child to go to school over there. Then I thought, you know what, I need to do something about this. So on my 50th birthday anniversary, instead of I was going to have a big party, but I converted it to launching of this foundation, basically. And basically, our mission has been to go on the streets in Nigeria, to pick up children that are on the streets, poor children that haven't got access to education, put them in school, pay their school fees, buy their shoes, their bags, just make sure we can put them
Everything that keeps them
in school, all the way to end of secondary school, which is GSS 3.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this now for the last 6 years now. Yeah, and so far to date, we've picked up 105 children. And we're putting them through school, paying their school fees.
That is so good. And you just said 6 years, so you're telling me that a young lady like you is about 56. That's correct.
Wow. You worked it out.
with ages, I say,
We're aging backwards.
Yes, and I love it. I love it for us women. I must commend you. We on the still must commend you because your foundation focuses on removing those barriers to education. But my question would be about the girl child. What kind of barriers? We know it's difficult, especially for the girl children, but I want to ask you, what kind of barriers have you encountered, have you seen, have you witnessed that are the biggest impediments, obstacles to a girl child getting education that she deserves, and how is the foundation tackling all of that?
Okay. So as you know, girls are vulnerable, you understand. So we tend to pay much emphasis on the girl. One of our policies is that we only sponsor a child per family so that we can spread the money around. And if there are 2 children in a family that needs to be sponsored, if one is a female, we prioritize the female. Because girls can easily get pregnant and fall by the wayside and things. So that's why we prioritize the girl child. Now, because of our vulnerability, our attractiveness, you understand, men tend to prey on girls. You understand? So we don't want these girls on the streets where they'll be exposed to men. We want them in the classroom where they are acquiring knowledge and they can go on and do something good for themselves. And also some social-cultural barriers are there, especially in the north. They tend to marry off the girls a bit early, And what we are doing as part of our advocacy is we're saying to them that we're not telling you not to marry these girls off, but let them get some education. Once they've got the education, then by all means you can marry them off, but not before they get the education. So we've been doing lots of advocacy in the north. Also, because there's been lots of kidnapping incidents in the north, especially the Chibok girls. The moment that Chibok girls incident happened, most parents, especially in the north, withdrew their girls from school and said no, they would not put their girls through this. So it's been a constant battle trying to get them to understand that don't let that prevent you from sending your child to school. Because otherwise, it will be a bigger problem. Because if that child hasn't got any skills, they will not be economically active. And then, so basically we've been trying our best to do that. But what we've also made sure we do is that as part of our cohort of 105, majority of those in that cohort are girls. Because to reduce their exposure to vulnerability. And also when girls are seeing their period, some of them don't go to school because either they can't afford to buy the sanitary towel and things like that. So we tend to supply all that to them so that doesn't stop them from going to school.
It's amazing. I like data and research because what the data tells us is that when you educate a young girl, she's likelier to make more money over the long run, make healthier choices for her and her children, and even have less children in the long run as well. The more education young girls get, the further they go in education, you see these positives by the way. So I want to ask about, I want to go back to that because I know in the UK, in the US, in many Western countries, it's actually illegal for parents. It's not just schools that get in trouble. Parents can go to jail for not putting their children in school, registering them on time, or for not even being sure or keeping them in school. We don't have that here. We know we've tried the school feeding program, incentives to encourage parents. Okay, let's take a meal off of you. There are organizations that provide backpacks and sanitary towels for girls, as you said. But in terms of the work that you do at the IA Foundation, you work with vulnerable communities and families. We'd love to hear a story or an example of a child whose life has been transformed because of the work you do.
So I'll give you 2 examples. The one that is close to my heart is a lady called Opayemi Adidara. Opeyemi Adidara was at FUTA in Akure. And we don't deal with university undergraduates. We only deal with primary and secondary school. And she reached out to us saying her mom was dying of cancer and her father is using all his funds to treat the mother so the mother doesn't die. And that she will be grateful if her foundation can help see her through the rest of her education so she doesn't fall out from university education. So this was a difficult decision for us to make at our board because our rules is that it's only primary and secondary. But Opeyemi's story pulled on our heartstring, and we thought, you know what, we cannot look away. If this is, we're going to do this as a one-off, we have to. So we sponsored Opeyemi through our university. She then did a service year, and now Opeyemi is a bona fide staff of IE Foundation.
Wow.
She's actually a program support officer in IE Foundation.
Wow.
So that's a success story. This is a girl who would have fallen out of uni, who knows what would have happened to her by now, but she's now got a good job working for the foundation, helping to reduce the number of out-of-school children. So that's one that really that makes me very, very happy. Also, there was a time we saw this viral video about children in Makoko, in classroom that is flooded, and they had no access to clean water. So these children were drinking very dirty water. So what we decided to do as a foundation is to build a bowl for the Makoko community. So it's not just for the children only. The whole Makoko community has got access to clean water because we believe the health of these children matters. You know, they need to have access to clean water. So now they've got the access to clean water. They are getting their education. They're happy. The community is happy.
Healthier.
Exactly.
Healthier.
You know. So that's another thing we've done, an educational infrastructure which we've done, which I think, you know, is really, really a good thing to do. We also go to schools. We distribute books. We distribute. So that's the Makoko picture on the screen at the moment. We distribute books, pencils, any educational material, just to aid the child to make sure they remain in education.
Wow, it's a very interesting story, and I'm particularly happy about the young lady who you have brought, you know, through school, and now she's been employed by the foundation. She's able to give back. That's really, really commendable. I know IA Foundation has been growing steadily since 2019, and it's a no-brainer that you'd have learned a lot of lessons along the way. So you want to share with us some of the lessons the foundation has taught you, either on leadership, resilience, community impact, you know, so many things. What are the lessons that you say are pivotal for the foundation?
Okay, so obviously because of my background as a chartered accountant, I tend to make sure when I set the organization up, we have very robust governance. So we've got board members that have got various skill sets, high-profile board members. We also even have our patron is actually the son, Femi Falano. Is our patron, and we have other ambassadors. So we make sure we put that right structure in place. However, in getting that structure in place was not easy because we had to get ourselves registered at Charity Commission in the UK. And for the Charity Commission, which is the regulator of NGOs in the UK, for you to get registered with Charity Commission, it's not easy. You understand? We had to go through lots of hoops, and we had to tick lots of boxes to make sure they're happy and to register us. So we're registered there. We're registered in Nigeria with CAC. So we've got 3 regulators, and we need to make sure we meet their requirements. And ensuring we do that hasn't been easy. I am a volunteer for the foundation, you understand, and I have my day job in the UK. This is not my day job, it's just my passion, you understand. So finding the time to make sure we meet all the regulatory requirements has not been easy.
Across 3 regulators.
Across 3 regulators. And also, when we go on the streets, we go about over 30 volunteers all over the country. They go on the streets during school hours to see the children on the street, to pick them up. And sometimes I come into Nigeria as well to do that. I go on the street myself to pick up these children. And there was this particular time, it was around the Lausa, we were going on a charity walk to the House of Assembly. And I saw this guy, little boy, 8-year-old, selling handkerchief. And I'm saying, why are you selling handkerchief? He said, oh, if I don't sell handkerchief, I'll have no food to eat tonight. So I said, where's your parents? He said, my dad is down there. So I said, take me to your dad. And we went to the dad, and I said, why is this guy doing this? He said, if he doesn't do it, we won't eat tonight, you understand? So I said,
what was the father doing while the boy was
selling? He too had his little shop, he was selling some stuff there. So he sent the boy off to go and hawk the handkerchief. So I said, you know what, we've got good news for you. this boy doesn't go have to hawk handkerchief anymore. We will pay for his school fees. We'll buy his books, we'll buy everything. You don't have to incur any costs for this child. You know, just release the child for us to put the child in school. And he said, no way. He said, there's no way you're having my son. You know, because if he doesn't hawk, there'll be no food. And I said to him that if you allow this boy to go to school, this child will take the whole family out of poverty. You understand? So we were physically struggling to get the boy off him, and he refused. And I am excited today because as part of this experience that I had, we are sponsoring a bill in the National House of Assembly whereby parents who do not send their kids to school will be penalized.
We must get there.
Yeah.
We have to get there.
We have to get there.
You know, so it's going to second reading now, and I pray that the president will put his accent to it and to make sure parents can be penalized for not allowing people to help them put their children in school. So that's been one horrible experience. And in some instance, when we go to the parents, because you need the parents' permission to put their children in school. Yeah. Some of them have called me kidnapper. Some of them have called me ritualist, that I want to use their child to go and do ritual. Exactly. Yeah, because to them it's too good to be true. How can you come from UK and you want to come and pick my child up from the slum and take my child to school?
Probably that would be what would I say, poverty of the mind?
Yeah.
How they've grown up. But let's focus on what you've done so far, and it is commendable. Yeah. Now you have your anniversary coming up. What's the theme? What's it about? In fact, I have two questions. What do you hope to accomplish this year? And then if people want to partner with IA, how do they do that? I mean, here and abroad, how do they do that? Let's just two questions in one quickly.
Yeah, so basically, we need funds to put these children through school because although they say education is free, but it's not free technically because there are things you need to buy and stuff like that. So we, to put 105 children in school, it costs money. And we don't have anything we are producing to generate money, so we have to fundraise. So on the 26th of April in London, we are having a mega fundraising event where the creme de la creme of the Nigerian community in the UK will come together and socially invest, raise money, which we will then repatriate to be able to pick up these children and send them to school. The last time we had this in UK was in 2023, and we raised £24,000 on that night only. We're going to have mayors of London boroughs attending. The acting high commissioner will be delivering the keynote address. Honorable Abike Dabiri is a fan of the foundation. She's also supporting us. As I said, our patron, the son Falana, is supporting us. So yes, we are socializing, we are eating, dancing and all that, but at the same time, we are donating. That is where we get most of our funds from. And we also appeal to high net worth individuals and foundations in UK and in Nigeria and institutional funders to donate to us to make sure we have the funds to be able to pick up these children. Now, as part of what we do, it's not just going on the street picking up children. We also do advocacy as part of our strand. Because as you know, it's the government's responsibility to educate its citizens. We are just supporting the government to do that. So we are always advocating, encouraging the government to try and do their best to reduce the number of out-of-school children. It's 18.3 million. We are the highest in the world. It is unacceptable. So I'm thankful that most of our advocacy has been working because the current government has now set up a commission called the Commission for Out-of-School Children and Almajiri, and their objective is to reduce the number of out-of-school children. Recently, the Minister of Education has been changed to a very proactive young doctor, Dr. Tunji Alausa, who is doing wonderfully well in terms of addressing this issue of out-of-school children. So the political will is there. We as NGOs are supporting them. What we are also doing in IA Foundation is ensuring that there's a coalition of NGOs that are working within the education space.
You have
because
goals,
I think
goals.
Exactly. So if we come together, it will be a stronger force for us to be able to work with the government to make sure we can assist them in achieving their objectives.
All right, Ibironke, we have to go, but before we do that, very quickly, contact information, websites, social media handles, if people want to get in touch with you.
Okay, so our website is www.ia-foundation.org, and our UK number is +44 796 798 366. So you can get in touch with us via our WhatsApp. You can go to our website. There's a portal there. If you see any child on the street, go to our portal. There's a form you fill there to let us know about it, and we'll go and look for that child and pick the child off the street.
Well, Ibironke, I want to say a very big thank you. Thank you so much for your heart, yes, and for your passion, and for turning a personal, personal milestone into a movement that is transforming lives across Nigeria. Your story reminds us that we can still be part of the solution, no matter where we are and what we do. We celebrate you, and we're rooting for IA Foundation as it continues to grow and create impact. We're still speaking about impact, which has no age limit. When we come back from the break, we're joined by a very special young lady. A few minutes from now, the youngest Nigerian to receive an Emmy nomination. Yes, we have voice actress Simisola Gbadamosi, who is joining us on this Jasiri table today. So let's talk about voice acting, balancing school and her creative passion, and of course, her Emmy nomination. You don't want to miss this, so stay with us.
So today on Jasiri, we celebrate brilliance, boldness, and the beauty of seeing young Nigerians take center stage, not just at home, but on the global stage. At just 13 years old, Simisola Gbadamosi has already made history as the youngest Nigerian to be nominated for an International Emmy Award. Her voice brought the character of Tola to life in Iwájú, the groundbreaking animated series set in a futuristic Lagos. But beyond the voice work is a young girl who's passionate about storytelling, I think entrepreneurship, and is now inspiring others to dream big, regardless of age. Today, we sit down with Simisola to talk about her Emmy-nominated journey, how she balances creativity with school, and what it means to represent a new generation of Nigerian talent to the world. Simisola Gbadamosi, welcome to Jasiri.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And I should talk about your dress. It's just like flowers.
No, I love seeing
So
young black
beautiful.
girls, young women, black women, yellow and orange. They're colors you need to try. They're colors. Very nice. Thank you for joining us.
I am good. I'm excited.
I love it. I love it for you. First of all, we must say congratulations on your nomination, all the phenomenal work that you put in Iwájú. Let's start at the beginning. So you were head girl in your school when you first started voicing the character Tola Martins.
Yeah.
So please, can you take us back to the beginning? How did you and your family hear about the role, and how did you get around to auditioning for it?
Okay. So in June of 2021, I had actually just been released from the hospital because I had an emergency appendectomy.
Okay.
Wow.
And I was at home and my mom was like, oh, Simi, there's this audition casting call. Road 14 Studios emailed a casting call for parents for girls within a certain age group. And so she said, oh, Simi, there's this casting call. There's this audition. Do you want to try? I said, okay, sure, why not? So we recorded it in a voice recording in the app, and we sent it off, and then a couple months later we got a call, I believe, and they said, oh, you got the role, and congratulations, it's a Disney role.
Like that. So what did you do exactly? Did you take it seriously, or you were just, okay, sure, why not? Let me just go.
I wasn't really, it was just a random.
And you're just having fun with it.
Exactly.
You see,
I was doing it.
What did you think? What did you say exactly? Okay, can you do a
do you remember what you
reenactment.
said in the audition?
I'm trying to remember the piece of the script because I do remember when I was recording the actual show, when I saw the piece, I was like, oh, this was the audition. I think it was one of the scenes after she got kidnapped. I don't remember which one. I think it was one of those.
But let's not spoil it for those who have not seen it.
I've seen it.
I've seen it and I saw it.
Anyway, I'm always excited when I see young actors, that are just, acting just comes to them naturally. Unlike because having children to play in a movie or acting, it can really be a very tall task, especially if the child doesn't want to do it. I just want to know, have you always had like an acting background, or you've always, maybe you were in the school stage
or dramas
or something? Because a little birdie told me that time in your life you were all about baking and cakes and cookies and all that. So how did we go from there to this?
Okay, my only acting experience was when I was 3. and I played a sheep in my school.
A sheep? Blah, blah, black
Well,
sheep.
see, a sheep might have been better than a tree. You know, some people play trees, some people play rocks. So maybe a sheep is fine.
No, there was just a few of us. We were little trees. And we were singing and dancing.
Did you make sounds? Did you have lines?
I think we sang because the picture I have is like us doing a dance move. And
Wow. I'd love to see in a sheep's costume.
You sang.
I don't know why your mom didn't share that one. Okay, fine. So it was
tell
just
me.
3. But from 3 to now 12, you started this when you were about 12 years old. Were you
actually
interested in
started when
acting?
No, I started when I was 10.
10. Oh, it's just okay, it's animated, so it will take a long
It's
time.
a long time
Yeah.
coming. I never really had any interest in acting. My cousin actually told me that she thought she'd be the first famous one in the family.
Oh,
so.
Wow.
I think I know cousins like that. Yes, I know family like that. Okay, so Lola said a little birdie told her, but we found out a little bit more about you, and I think that tells us, what we found out tells us you were really destined to be a star. So you ventured into writing short stories and even won the Best Creative Kid Entrepreneur Award at 6. Wow. And now you've got to tell stories as a voice actress. So what's the best part? So that tells me that from the beginning you've always wanted to be a storyteller, share your stories and ideas with people. What's the best part of being a storyteller for you?
Seeing how people relate to stories and being able to share stories with people.
So how do people, when Iwájú came out and you realized that this was really this groundbreaking, amazing thing, how did you feel?
Very excited. Because I, for one, don't like seeing people misrepresented in the media. So having proper representation made me very happy.
So how did your friends react?
Wait on the phone. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Simisola Gbadamosi's journey, and we'll talk that Emmy nomination. She was in Los Angeles. We'll have the details after this. Stay with us.
Welcome again, and thank you very much for staying with us on Jasiri today. So, Simisola Gbadamosi hasn't just made history, she's helped tell it. As the voice of Tola in Disney's Iwájú, she brought a futuristic Nigerian story to life and earned an International Emmy nomination along the way. But this journey is more than just awards. It's about the power of storytelling and the importance of cultural representation and the joy of seeing a young talent shine on the global stage. Simisola is with us today. We're so excited. So Iwájú is a special project because it highlights African stories and settings. It's super cool, futuristic story set in Lagos, but also talks about some of the big stuff like class, family, friendships, and themes like that. When you first read the script, what part of the story really made you do like, whoa, this is special? They're just gonna put me in this. How did it feel?
I don't think there was a specific part of the script. I feel like just seeing everything come together and seeing the storyline was very special.
Oh, when you went into the voice booth, was that the first time you were going into a proper studio?
Yes.
So this was a first time a first time in many ways. This whole adventure. Wow.
So did you, you're going to have a headphones. Did you have the characters playing on the side? Because animation is different from acting.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to be able to watch and voice along.
Yeah.
How was it?
I don't think they had started. I would see the drawings, the storyboards before I would go in. So I had an idea of what was happening. I didn't get to watch, unfortunately, which made me very sad. But when I did see clips, I was very happy.
You're very happy.
Because it was all coming together. Even though I cringed at the sound of my own voice.
We've been doing this collectively among us. I think we have 100 years of experience on this thing. None of us like our voice. Even we talked about it last week.
I don't like to watch
on
myself.
A chalkboard. I don't know why people find my voice. I don't understand why people like my voice.
I find it very overwhelming to watch myself.
Yes. So don't worry.
I wasn't watching myself. I was hearing myself. But basically, I would read through it and then do each line 3 times.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Did you do a lot of takes?
Yes.
Yes. What's the longest number of takes you did? Shock me.
So after doing the read through, then doing each line at least 3 times, sometimes we'd go back and do it in different emotions. I think the longest one was the monologue when she was talking to her dad in the last episode.
Yeah.
That took a while.
What did you learn?
Yeah. Yo, I feel the heaviness.
You know, for children, anything beyond like a week is a while. You know, so you're getting into this character who has all this big emotions, who you have to use your voice to convey this absolutely beautiful message and all of that. Did you feel any pressure in all of this, you know, or did you feel like, okay, being a voice actor and doing it this way was sort of like a way to ease you into the whole acting situation?
I feel like at the time I didn't realize how big it was until it came out. Then I was like, wow, this is actually this is a pretty huge deal. I don't think I felt any pressure. I think I was just having fun with it.
Having fun. And I think that's the best part. I know Mom is back there with me. And I think that really is the best part, allowing her to be able to have fun in all of this. All right, so Lolo, you have another question.
Yeah. Anyway, I maybe because I like food and they give me food-related questions. You know. I hear that you still like baking.
What's your favorite thing to bake?
Yeah. There's a baker on this table. I'm going to reveal. I wanted to do a big reveal.
Oh, so sorry.
So tell me
what's your favorite thing to bake?
To bake. Yeah.
I like baking and eating chocolate chip cookies. Me and my sister.
You and my daughter are the same thing.
We've been experimenting with it. The other day, I think on Friday, we made another batch. And they look like chocolate cookies, but they're good.
They're good. They just look like Like for me, I don't think baking has to be perfect as long as it tastes good.
Oh,
high five, girl.
The ugliest things are always the most
delicious. Yeah.
Wow.
The baker on this table. Guess who you think the baker on this table is?
If I had to guess, I feel like it's you.
That's I would say she's she is more a fryer, but she makes groundnuts.
Okay.
So she fries groundnuts.
Okay, try again.
That is the bacon.
Okay, this is my...
I bake a lot. I bake a lot in my sleep. When I dream,
how your oven works.
I'm the person that watches the most food channel on this table. But I know she bakes everything she sees. But tell me,
we'll do a baking date, eh? Let's roll with something.
Yeah, but you know, I know that for a young girl that maybe acting wasn't your thing in the initial time, it must have been kind of, I don't know, did you feel, how are you able to balance school with all the things that you love doing? Because another thing that even we adults struggle with is balance. So how are you able to, you know, fill all the gaps, tick your baking box, tick your acting box, tick your other pleasures that we might not even know. Maybe you might even be a knitter, making crochet dolls. So tell me, how do you balance all?
I just found I had to focus on different things at different times. So if I had a test coming up, if I had exams coming up, I would know that, okay, this is not the time for play. It's time to lock in and study. For example, when I was doing Iwájú, I would have to do the recordings after school. So the day that I knew I had a recording, I would get home, I would do homework if I had homework, I would eat so that I wasn't tired. Then head up to the studio. Oh, also make sure that I had read the script so that I understood everything. Yeah.
So wait, did your friends started, so once the movie came out and, you know, you're doing red carpets and all of this, you're making history in Nigeria and across the world as well, did your friends treat you any differently? Because let me tell you, if I was you at your age, if my mother says clean your room, I'm going to be like, Mommy, excuse me, I'm Emmy-Nominated, Emmy-Nominated 13-year-olds do not clean their rooms, and I'm going to make you run because the super is coming.
Your mom says per all the time.
Your mom says, wow.
Mommy, no one says per. Nobody says per.
But they say, my daughter says per.
Is it cool? It's not cool to say per.
I haven't heard anyone.
But she's
say
alpha.
it. Okay, so I'm not alpha actually. I'm the tail end
of Gen Z.
You're the tail end of Gen Z. Like Corey is alpha.
Oh, okay.
So let's gossip
Tail
about
end,
it a little bit. So let's play a scenario where she says per.
Okay.
That's what she says.
Maybe you were talking about something Like, for example, my birthday is this week.
Yeah.
And we're talking about my birthday, and she'll be like, I don't know. And then she'll say something, and she'll be like, Pearl, and my mommy, what?
Like, mommy, why?
Why is this picture?
Why are you disgracing me?
Mommy, why?
Why are they all the same? I get told all the time that I'm so uncool.
And I'm really trying to even learn their lingo, and it doesn't just sound right.
You know,
like on period to my mommy. Yeah, you don't have to be harsh.
Yeah.
It's just on period.
But she still tells you to clean your room and do your homework.
Yes.
Well, that one you can't escape. All right, let's talk the nominations. Simisola, you were nominated in the category for Outstanding Younger Voice Performer in the Preschool, Children's or Young Teen Program category at the Children's and Family Emmy Awards for your role in Iwájú. Now, the series was also nominated for Outstanding Children's or Young Teen Animated Series, as well as Outstanding Directing for an Animated Series. So not only are you the youngest Nigerian Emmy nominee ever, Iwájú is also the first Nigerian television show to ever be nominated for the Children's and Family Emmy Awards. Whew, when you got the news, was it an email, an envelope? What was it, and how did you feel?
I know. I'm not sure what the news was, because my parents delivered the news to me and my sister.
How were they?
How were they? Were they calm?
They were calm, but then, see, in my family, when someone is sneakily holding a phone camera, you know something big is about to happen.
I love it. Mommy, sorry.
What's going on that they have to record in real time?
So my dad was recording, and my mom was like, I think she said it was an email, and that I was nominated for them. And I said, what? She said, what? And my sister was right there, and I grabbed her. I said, what? What? Sorry, can you just confirm what they just said? And so I started jumping around and screaming and being happy.
Please, how did you scream?
How did you scream like? She can't remember. Audition for a scream right now.
I ran and I grabbed the pillow and screamed into the pillow.
But you know, there's something very lady about her. You know, she
has to take it from her mother.
Yeah. Who would you say you look more like your mom?
You know what? When I was little, apparently I used to look like my dad. And people who haven't seen my mom still think I look like my dad. But I am my mother's carbon copy, and my sister is my dad's carbon copy.
So let's put that picture back up. Let's decide about this carbon copy. Because people change.
It may not look
I think Sim is darker than mine.
I can see it.
Lighter.
So my dad is
lighter.
Yeah, you share your mother's smile.
So
I can see that.
And they wear the glasses.
Yeah.
You know what?
And the forehead. And the pointy toes.
It's okay. Simi, what did you want to say?
If you see a picture of my mom when she was my age, you would be confused. For example, when I was 10, I saw a picture of her on her 10th birthday, and I said, Mommy, how did I get into 1991?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
She spit you out.
Yes.
Oh,
And apparently, I didn't used to look like her.
Yes, the faces. Courtney did not look like me until 3 years ago. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we're still sitting with the youngest ever Nigerian Emmy nominee. There's much more as we wrap up the show. Stay with us.
You were watching Jasiri. Today is a lovely Jasiri conversation. I love the feel of the conversation. And that's probably because we're sitting with Nigeria's youngest ever Emmy nominee, Simisola Gbadamosi. We couldn't be prouder. Simi, what's the one thing people don't know about you? Like one fun thing people don't know about you? Maybe a secret hobby. I don't want to say maybe your mom doesn't know, because your mom seems like
she knows all.
Gadget, like
no, actually she's, maybe because I tell her stuff. I don't want it. I don't like keeping secrets is stressful.
Your mom is that.
Let her enjoy. I know when you stop telling her stuff.
Maybe like a secret hobby, a weird food combo.
Maybe.
I think you have a weird food combo.
No,
like toothpaste and bread.
My sister does.
No.
My sister does. Wait, what? Toothpaste and bread?
What is that? But I've heard it before.
I heard it.
I've actually heard it before.
Yeah.
Like bread and noodles.
I don't want to expose my sister, but she does have the weird food combo.
What is it? Expose
She used
somebody.
to eat, when we were younger, she used to eat jollof rice and ketchup.
I would say that really weird.
But that's not fair. If you're that's not fair. If you're exposing your sister, you have to give us something.
I actually don't.
Okay, so if it's not a weird food combo,
Okay, something.
what makes you cry?
I really like reading books. So when
What are you currently reading?
Oh, I just finished. No, I just like books. There's some certain books that I really just can't read.
Like what?
I'm bored. I just if the book isn't interesting to me, I just want to read.
What kind of
What did you
genre
just finish reading?
I just finished reading Promised Boys. It's about a murder investigation.
Ooh,
And I know.
I was reading Nancy Drew younger than you.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we've been doing the
But it was really
investigating.
good. It was very good.
That's what I wanna
finished
hear.
it before I came.
Before you came,
you enjoy
you're on
it.
holiday.
So you like
Yeah.
crime dramas, you like to read
Yes,
crime,
I like dystopian
thrillers,
books.
You like horror?
dystopian books.
I can't. Horror movies, absolutely not. Horror books, absolutely not. My friends love horror movies. I was like, I'm not doing with you people. Have a good old time.
So what's your favorite activity? If your mom was to say, Simisola, today is your day.
Yeah.
We do only what you want to do. What is that one thing everybody would have to do?
What's the one thing everybody would have to do? I would like us to get on a plane and go to the biggest bookstore in the world.
Biggest bookstore.
And then go get food.
I know the
type of
biggest
food
library in the world. I think the
What
one is
type
in
of food
one
would
of them
you
is in
want?
Dubai.
It has to be.
It's
What type of
gorgeous.
Dubai, Qatar, that time.
Yeah.
I would like Italian food, I guess.
Oh, you like
I like
pasta?
pasta, yes.
What kind of pasta do you like? A tomato-based pasta or cream-based
Yeah, I like
pasta?
you know when they have tomato and cream together?
Okay, can mix
like
it
that.
together.
So let me ask you another question. Don't look at your mom's face just because she's here, you know?
Okay.
Because I want to know about your inspiration. You're not too young to have inspiration. So whether it's in acting, storytelling, or just in life, what inspires you, or who rather? Who inspires you?
My parents inspire me.
I love that.
Michelle Obama inspires me.
Oh, girl! Big snap for that.
Marseille.
The richest man in history, right? No?
No, the girl that does education.
No, she acts, I believe. I don't know. I feel like because she's so young and she's done so much already.
Yeah.
That's
Is she she's American?
she's African American.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
Oh, Marsa Martin.
I
Yes, she was in Grownish. No, the other one before it.
Blackish.
Yes, Blackish. There we go. I just saw her in that new movie with Viola Davis. I'm
Whatever that was.
It's artistic.
Who else inspires?
And you know she has an empire now. She's doing movies.
She produces.
She produces.
Wow.
Oh, I can see that.
Something because you're getting there and you speak with such ease about this.
Yeah.
Is this a line you want to toe? Or I know you wear a lot of hats. You bake. Yeah. You bake well. I want to say you bake pretty well.
I would like to
let's say
believe
you
I do. I think I do.
So it's edible, eh?
Nobody has died.
Very. Trust me.
You bake.
I was hoping she brought a bag. That's how I can confirm your baking.
You know,
that's the only
I
way.
would have, except I am on school break, so I've been sleeping in.
Wow.
So waking up was a bit of a chore.
I understand. Me and your mother had holidays. It had to be holiday. And you had your question because time is gone.
In fact, no.
I wonder, she was asking that, would acting be a future expectation from you, or you want to do something else?
I would like to continue acting.
Voice acting, or you want to get fully
both of
into
them.
movies? Both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
I heard your voice recently on a promo. I was like, I know that voice. I like that. And that's where you get to where people start recognizing that sometimes your name might not come to mind immediately, but I heard this voice together. Yes, I've heard this voice before. Where?
Like, I recognize faces, but I can't
Do you remember names?
match them.
So have there been more, people wanting you to do stuff in acting?
Yes.
Have you been getting calls?
Casting calls.
Yeah.
And the script.
Well, you have a momager, so
Yes,
she's looking out for you. All right, Simisola, before we let you go, if you had to dream big, whether it's the baking, it's the acting, voice acting, and both in front of the screen, it's the storytelling, what's one thing you'd love to achieve or do in the next few years? You're 13 now, you're on the cusp. You've entered the teen.
Yes,
What? Mom, so sorry. She's entered the teen years. You're on the cusp of adulthood. 18 is staring you in the face 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Is there something big? What would you like to do or achieve in the next few years?
I'm going to say 5 years. In 5 years, I will be 19. 19? Yes.
No.
Your birthday is this week.
Yeah, my birthday is this week.
So yeah.
Well,
She's about to turn 14.
there, almost there.
So
So I'll be 19. I would like to have gotten into the university of my choice and possibly gotten a big acting role, an exciting one, maybe with Marcel Martin.
Okay, we're gonna put it out there.
I really like design. I'm not sure what type of design I would like to do quite yet, but design.
Design.
The
So you
type
might design cars.
Yeah. Like there's industrial design.
This is
there's
like a
architecture.
timeline cleanse.
Okay.
Do you know?
When I was your age, I didn't even know.
I was gonna ask, what were you people doing at 13? What did you use your life to do?
You see that you ask yourself questions. Simisola, this day has been so fun.
It's a timeline cleanse.
Thank you, Simisola. Thank you so much. You made today it's been so much fun with you, and you
I had
are
a good time.
indeed a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
I would even know that we needed you, but you
You
just
did. And I know our viewers out
And
there
I'm
needed
still
you too.
expecting my cookies, no matter how crooked they are.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to Mommy for bringing you with us, for us today. So Simisola Gbadamosi may just be 13, but her voice, talent, and her spirit already echoing across the world. From Iwájú to the Emmys, she's proof that dreams don't wait for your age. Anytime they can bloom, and when you water them with courage, creativity, and hard work. Simisola, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And we're cheering for you. And we hope that you keep making history boldly,
Amen.
confidently, and beautifully.
well.
So thank you, everyone, for tuning in with us today. We brought you inspiration. So see you tomorrow. Stay inspired, and you don't know what's turning up on this table tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Simisola say bye.
Bye.